Time now for our arts and culture segment. As always, we're joined by our culture correspondent, Yoo-jin. Welcome, Yoo-jin.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. What do you have for us today?
Well, Jungmin, for the past 2 weeks, I've been introducing you to the Joseon envoys through their reenacted envoy procession and also the recreated ship that has sailed to Japan. And today I have a special exhibition, and I'll take you inside the exhibition in Seoul that dives into the history behind this centuries-old diplomatic mission. These paintings offer a glimpse into the original Joseon-Tongsinsa missions, depicting the formal procession and the ships that carried the envoys across the sea to Japan. For those curious about how these centuries-old diplomatic journeys help bridge the two countries, you can step back in time here. So this exhibition, titled Bonds of the Heart, Waves of Resonance, currently on here at the Seoul Museum of History, is actually the largest ever exhibition held on the Joseon-Tongsinsa. And it is also this museum's biggest exhibition since its opening in 2002. More than 100 artifacts from both Korea and Japan are on display, some of them listed on the UNESCO Memory of the World Register.
The Tongsinsa missions were launched after the Indian War, at a time when Japan was still viewed as a sworn enemy. But Joseon decided to restore diplomatic ties for the peace and stability of its people. Those efforts to rebuild trust is what we focused on.
The three-part exhibition traces the history of the 12 Tongsinsa missions from the 17th to 19th centuries, from their dispatch and sea voyage to cultural exchanges in Japan and their return home.
As the missions continued, mutual understanding grew, and many of the artifacts on display, such as the handwritten exchanges and literary works by the envoys, reflect that deepening relationship.
That human connection is captured in this painting, collected by the late Korean historian Shin Gi-soo. Shin donated over 100 artifacts related to the Joseon-Tongsinsa to the Osaka Museum of History.
This painting shows an everyday interaction. An envoy on horseback is greeted by a Japanese citizen, almost like an autograph signing. While we have many records of formal diplomacy, there's little that shows how ordinary people connected with the envoys.
The first part of Bonds of the Heart, Waves of Resonance will close on May 25th. The second and final phase will open on May 27th with new artifacts until June 29th.
So you just gave a sneak peek of some new artifacts once the exhibition enters its second phase. What can we expect in the latter half?
Well, that also caught my interest too. So I asked curator Oh, who was featured in my report directly, and she said that while part one mostly featured and focused on walking the visitors through the entire history of the Joseon-Tongsinsa, part two will more likely focus on the detailed aspects of the mission. So one example could be a picture that really showed the ship that was carrying the letter, the royal letter from Joseon to the Japanese leader, who was called Shogun at the time. And this is important because safely sending this letter to the Japanese ruler was considered the core purpose of the entire diplomatic mission. And other highlights will include a painting that shows the horseback riders of Joseon, who were called masangje, who were known to be really popular among Japanese local residents at the time.
Fascinating. I'm sure you're going to be covering the second phase as well. And Yoo-jin, you previously mentioned that the Tongsinsa procession and the ship you've been following this year are based on the 11th mission. Tell us more about that specific journey.
Well, I want to mention that the 11th mission is very important because many historians say that this mission is the highlight of the 12 official Joseon-Tongsinsa missions, and this specific mission took place from 1763 to 1764. And this is called the highlight because by that point, the diplomatic relationship between Korea and Japan was pretty much restored, and mutual understanding had grown significantly over the past 10 missions. So as a result, the exchange of culture and ideas, especially between Joseon envoys and Japanese scholars, reached a high point, which is a reason why the greatest number of travel records and collections of envoy poetry, which you're seeing on the screen right now, were published during that mission. So in fact, the exhibition's final section, part 3, includes a dedicated space highlighting this mission and its significance. For your information, it's located at the very end of the gallery.
Our culture correspondent, Yoo-jin, thanks as always.
Thank you.